This is ACOFAE. Laura Marie and Jessica Marie proudly present A Court of Fandoms and Exploration, a podcast. Fair warning, everything the hosts say is explicit, full of spoilers and adult content and shall not be used against them. They have opinions. Let's try not to drag anyone for expressing themselves and just have fun for an hour. We all deserve it.
This episode contains spoilers from the Book of Azrael and the Throne of Broken Gods. There are also conversations surrounding grief and death of a sibling.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to A Court of Fandoms and Exploration, your weekly deep dive into the YA literature and fandoms that we love. I'm Laura Marie.
And I'm Jessica Marie.
And today we are discussing The Throne of Broken Gods, Book 2 in the Gods and Monsters series by Amber Nicole.
And for this episode, we're welcoming back a special guest. Please welcome back to the podcast, Amber Nicole, to discuss Book 2. Welcome back, Amber.
Welcome.
Hi, my name's Amber B. Nicole, and I'm sorry for the emotional trauma.
There's a lot of it. Amber. You are responsible for tears, for laughter, for joy, and for a beautiful exploration of female rage and grief. Thank you for this. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you guys for having me again. It's nice to be back.
Well, I feel like we're just going to jump into it because this episode is going to be full of spoilers. Like, we essentially pick up right where we left off. Maybe there's like a couple days. Like, at what point did you, when you finished book 1, were you like, I need to keep writing book 2?
So fun fact, your girl is crazy, because I say this, when I was finishing book 1, I had already started book 2 and was doing some stuff on it, because when I was making like marketing and stuff for book 1 to go out, I kept finding videos that I'm like, wow, this is really Diana in book 2. And I'm like, Amber, wait, finish, get all the book 1 stuff out before you do this. So I'd already started it. Same thing with like the rest of the series, where I'm doing book 3 now, but I've already started book 4 and like a little bit of 5. And I'm like, girl, calm down.
So you have the crazy like murder map on your wall to be like, okay, but we want all these ideas, but this is for 5 and this is
a conspiracy one. Yeah. So yeah, it's, that's how I do.
That's amazing. That's absolutely incredible. Building from that, since you are working on multiple things at once, what is the process for that? Do you have just like oh my gosh, like this needs to go down in book 4 right now, and you drop everything and do that? How does that work for you?
So, 2 things to that. One, as of right now, like, because I've told people before that I want the series to be like 6 to 7 books, and I didn't know if 7 was going to be like the novella kind of thing, or if that's like a full-length novel as well too. We'll kind of see. But I know every big major event that happens per book and like how to lead up to it. Filling in, of course, is the other part that kind of takes a little bit, because you have those little gaps you fill in. But yeah, it just like I have an outline, I have notes on everything, and then sometimes when I'm writing a part in, like, say hypothetically book 3, and I'm thinking, okay, this plays a role in book 4. Well, I have that in my head now. Let me just go start that so I don't lose it. Because there has been a point before where like I'm like, okay, I know what I want to write here. I know the momentum I'm going to have. I'll come back to it later. And then I get to that part and I'm like, what was that cool line I said? So I just never want to make that mistake again. So I just immediately, I don't necessarily have to go into my computer and do that, but on my notes app and stuff, I'll go in and I'll be like, okay, chapter 4, this happens, do this dialogue, and I save it for later.
Excellent. Would you consider yourself a plantser?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a plotter and a pantster, so definitely in between, for sure.
With the combination of the two, I get like that when it's usually when I'm writing papers or something. It's like, I really like that one line, but I need to word vomit that line and then go ahead and like integrate it into like I'll remember that. I'll figure out where to put it later, but it's so strong. So the fact that, I mean, everybody has their phones on them. So you have to be like, you know, those crazy like car thoughts or like shower. You're like, I got to put this on. I'll do a voice memo. But jumping right into that. So I always want to go back to the beginning because there's so much going on between Sam Keel and Diana. And like, Diana is just unapologetically the entire book in her feminine rage. Where like, we know that you love Catherine Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
And you have put it out there on socials that you're like, what would, it's unapologetically her. And she doesn't lose her powers. I mean, she does, but she never really does. Like, and I say she, I'm not talking about Catherine. I'm talking about Diana.
Yeah.
You knew that her powers never left. You were like, they're suppressed. Like, what was that part of, I don't know, like, what was the inspiration behind that? Because I know you don't like when a female loses her powers. Like,
I know. I made all those videos.
That's such a trope that we hate as well. So it was like that approach, and you were like, but they never really left. Like, was that part of your inspiration that they're never really gone? And
I know. So I know I love Catherine Pierce, and I've said it before that's Diana, and to a T she is, but also at the same time she's not. Just for the fact that she wouldn't get like Catherine is only team Catherine. Diana is like, I love Sam Keel. I love Gabby. So to me, she's always been a mix of Damon Salvatore and Catherine Pierce, because Damon and Elena give the same kind of vibes as like Sam Keel and like Diana in a way, because like, she would do anything for him, even if he's going to be mad about it, but he's going to be alive. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the back and forth. And like I said from the beginning, like I really just wanted a morally gray female character that could do this stuff that the same morally gray male characters do. Granted, will everybody love that? No. Granted, will most people? And yeah, and that's the thing that I love about the people who love Diana so much. But back to your question. So for her losing her powers, like you said, I don't like that trope. Just because it's like, I feel like you get all this, you have this stuff, and it's like, why do you have to lose it? Like, there's other ways to make it, something else. And when I was writing this book, as you guys can see, Diana's like full grief, full rage in her mode. There was no way that she was going to be working with Sam Keel or be around him without, having like a little bit of her like full steam, I guess you could say, not there. And I was like, she's going to lose these because she suppresses them, because like grief, like depression, like anything like that, you can have these moments where you just don't feel anything. And like she buried those powers / feelings when she thought that she like failed her sister again. And so they're always there. You see it on the beach. You see it in the mirror when she like does her like fake out thing, like you see it when they're like together. But it was just a way that he's like, I'm helping you. And she like is like, fine, I guess. Not like I can fly away the whole time she probably could have, So it was just nice. It was a good twist. And I think it worked really well for where he took her and like this home and this place he, built for her kind of thing.
This found family that you have given us, Amber, we're still talking about writing a little bit. Tell me about all of these different POVs, how, like the approach to that, getting into the mind of all of these different characters. It was incredible. I asked this, how do you write men so well? Like the women, you're just hitting out of the park, but also the men are such excellent characters too. You're just like nailing it on all fronts. Tell us about it.
So I always wanted it to be multiple POV. I know in the first book, I really wanted just focus on Diana and Sam Keel, especially with all the secrets that like Kaden has and everybody else has and stuff. So I didn't want that one to, divert from it. With book 2, I was like, finally, I can open this world. You can see everybody. And I loved it because they each have their own personality. And this was a trick I learned in my like writing group before I ever published the book and stuff. Is like when you make characters, you want them to have their likes, their dislikes, their pros, their cons, like their flaws, to make them fleshed out. And so it's like Cameron, while he's the funny one and the one that like makes people laugh, like he still has things that he hides himself, or, he has more of an addictive personality, you know what I mean? And then like Xavier, where like, he is kind of like that blanket for Cameron in a way, where it's like, okay, we can do this, but like, I'm going to keep you safe as well. And like, but he's also the one that's just more open to accepting people, whereas Vincent is not. So it was nice to have them all finally together, but I really did have like an outline for them by themselves to show like past history, like say Imogen for a reason, like, like her past history, what she's good at, what she's not good at, what she likes, what she dislikes and stuff. And it was just fun to showcase. But I really think just writing, guys, is just, I don't know, I've always had like a bunch of friends when it comes to male, female, like they're in sports, they're out of sports and stuff. So I think it's just all like lived experiences and stuff. I never feel like I'm getting it 100% right, but at the same time, I know I'm like a little bit closer because sometimes guys are just gross.
Well, and it came across effortless with writing all the characters. Like, when you have multiple POVs, obviously can be hard, but also because you have so many different people reading it, we all tend to be like, oh, you like the male MC, but my favorite male character is this other person. Like everybody's going to gravitate to a certain person. And even when it came to the spice, you didn't, the way you edged us, Amber, like. I know.
I'm not even sorry. I'm not. You have to
be. Because the first scene we get, you're like, okay. And then the second one, you're like it might not be Sam, Keel, and Diana, but still, okay. Yeah, you're into it because you are already into these characters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, that was definitely fun. Logan's chapter when it opened, like after, he gets Nebra and everything, and it opens up to them just like going at it. I got so many messages like, well, I wasn't expecting this, but I'm happy.
It was like, I think everything's sweet. And I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense. They haven't seen each other for so long.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It makes complete sense. Amber, what was writing that spice like? Because I ask solely because book one is very like low level spice. Book two is like, bam, thank you, ma'am. So
and it just keeps going for the rest of the series,
Excellent. Love it.
So I've always wanted, well, first there was always going to be spice in the books regardless. And this goes back to like my pre-writing days, in regards to the editor that I have now. Like me and her have always had these conversations when it comes to writing, and like the stuff I used to write before. Like with book one, I didn't want to add too much because I really wanted to build this enemies to lovers and make them have this bond before they're ever actually like super intimate, even though they were a little intimate. And then book two, it just explores that relationship. So with spice in general, how I like to write it, and like I said, how I've talked to my editor and like people before, it's like you really want to engage all the senses. So, even if it's like a rough, quick, like pounding or whatever, like it's still, there's an emotion behind it. Like say with Cameron and Eliana, like, they're using each other, they're using each other, but you still get the emotions from it. And then like with Diana and Sam Keel, their first time, even though it's like, great for them, it's still like that love and passion that they haven't been able to say. So you want to show that, and they show it physically, you know what I mean? So it really just derives back into that, which is fun. And that's why I like writing those scenes though too, because it's like you build these characters and you show just another form of intimacy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then like it's even translated from when, cause it's not always about, and it's said like through every single POV, everybody, everybody knows Diana's in love with, I keep wanting to say Liam, even though it's Sam Keel, but like that's how he said the whole for the first book. And then Sam Keel is in love with Diana, but nobody is saying everything. Like, but everybody acknowledges it. But then at the same time, everybody is also like giving them a hard time about like, oh my gosh, you fucked her once or you fucked each other, and everyone's like, no, like they just had to keep fighting and be like, we've never fucked. This has nothing to do with it. So it's just, I love that they fell in love with each other for who they are and kind of what they've gone through and what they've shared through. And it was like, what was one of the lines that Sam Keel uses? He's like, I've seen you at your best and I've also seen you at your worst. And I want every single part of it. Like, the amount of one-liners that Cinnamon Roll says. I'm like, highlight.
No, he's, and that's what I wanted for Diana, because of course we're only on book two. You guys get, of course, more history and past stuff throughout the series. So you really do, like, I know everything about her. You guys don't yet. You know what I mean? And so like, I really wanted that person in her life where, she doesn't have to be anything but who she is, and she's loved for it. Even if she doesn't realize that she's loved for it at the time, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what he was for her. And it's kind of what I wish everyone had. Like, when she's going through this grief or this pain and stuff, like you always want to have that shoulder you can lean on, that one immovable force that's not going to give up on you. And I really wanted that for her, especially after everything, and that's kind of what he is, even though he's headstrong and, still self-righteous a little bit, still egotistical, like he would die for this girl. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I just wanted her to have some peace because I know I just put my characters through it.
Well, and she even says that in one of their scenes, she was like, tell me this, tell me that. Like I say, one of their scenes, like one of their spicy scenes, where she's like, and even her internal thoughts were like, I feel so stupid, but like, this is what I need because of the shit that she's gone through for the last 1,000 years with Caden, and like the mental torture and the psychological torture that she's kind of put herself through. I mean, there's so many different aspects of mental health that is approached in this book.
Yeah. I feel like as women, though, we can attest to like having that one relationship before where you have to beg for everything, and that's Caden for her. Even if Caden loves her in his own way, but like that was Caden for her, like beg for dates or like time together or anything like that. And then you have Sam Keel who shows up and just gives this freely. And so she's not used to it and she's still trying to like work through it. So yeah, like, even in their intimate scenes, like she needs to know that she's wanted and needed and stuff, even if, the other world looks at her and just like, oh yeah, Diana, she's hot stuff, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but she doesn't feel that, and so she gets that from him.
And his friends kind of support her with that too. He's like, just ask him. He will literally bend over backwards. I mean, even he goes, Camilla, like, I need you to transfigure into me because like
I have a date.
I have a date, and he's like, what is a date? And Logan's like, oh my gosh, I forgot. Like, you haven't like. Talk to anybody for 1,000 years. Like, you got to court her and she's trying to court you guys.
Yeah. He's like, wait, what do I do? And also with that too, with the whole date thing, which was fun. It's like Sam Keel's also this king. He's had like, think of like a spoiled kid who's had everything since he's born. Like he doesn't have to go on dates. People are throwing themselves at him because they want to be like either queen or like seen with him, like that popularity. So he doesn't do that. And so like with Diana, it's like, wait, I want to do something nice for her. Logan, you know everything. You tell me. Like you're married. You tell me.
And his relationship with Logan, again, like you've written all these characters that you're invested in, not just the main characters, but everybody else too.
Yeah.
Like the relationships, the friendships that are, like Laura was saying about the found family. Like sometimes people tell and don't show found family, but you had this beautiful mixture of both because the concept was so different to Diana and it was shown through actions. Like it didn't have to say, like it wasn't drilled in. Like they truly did get along. And it was like, well, and you also are going to fight you're going to be bound to have arguments. You've known each other for like over 2,000 years.
Like it's bound to happen. And that was the thing. That was another big thing with writing the series in general. Like I knew whatever I took from her, I was going to give back just in a different way. So like she loses this family, that she thinks is her family. And then like, of course, she loses Gabby. And then, she gets that in something else. So like, she thought Drake was her friend. Well, not really. Cameron's going to be more of your friend, and like she thinks, I don't know, she loses her sister, Gabby, and then she gains like 2 more, like the thing that Nevra said. She's like, well, now you have 2 more. And like, she gets that kind of back. And we all know how Diana is when it comes to people she loves. So good luck to anybody who hurts them.
You could even say that, like, technically Diana would lose Gabby twice. The second time being when she finds out that she's, like, not her actual, like, blood sister. But going back to the found family that we are just praising you for, it is said that, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you choose your found family. Like, blood doesn't matter. So it is up to you. And just because, like, she wasn't your blood sister does not make her any less your sister. And it is, like, the love that is there. And that is just so lovely. I don't have siblings, but I imagine that bond being so incredibly special. And Amber, you made me cry when we are reunited. I say reunited with Gabby, Diana, and they have their moment when Gabby is just like, "Are you done? Like, are you done?"
Literally. Like she's like, I don't have time for this.
It was amazing because it really was just like this amazing sister dynamic where Diana's like, I'm telling you, like, everything that has just been crushing me about this entire situation. It's like, okay, wrap it up.
Yeah. That's true siblings. True siblings. Like, I'm here for you and I love you, but come on, get it together. So, no, that was one of the moments too that I liked that. I think I made my editor cry on that one. I definitely made everyone and my editor cry on the letter that Gabby left her. But yeah, the reunited scene, at the end was something I'd planned, from the beginning, like way back in book, 1, just because that would be like her final, like, I have peace now, even though I'm going to miss you, I'll still grieve. But it's like, I got to like say goodbye, I guess, in a way, you know?
Well, and through that grief, another thing, like we can't stop praising you about book 2. I mean, just the series in general, but the way grief is depicted and how much we respect you for it, because it's not like there's a switch that all of a sudden grief is over. It is a constant battle. It's a constant circle. You're going to have some high days, some low days. And it's also not a complete circle. It's not like you go through the stages and then it's over. Yeah. And the way that's translated in the book, like, you know, you'll have you have high days and you have low days. And just because Sam Keel caught her coming through the portal, that doesn't mean it's the fix all. Now she's fine. Like, yeah. It's through the whole thing that you did such a wonderful job, that I feel like I don't have the right words to depict how beautiful it was portrayed in that. I just wanted to give you that, that praise. It could not have been easy. When you wrote this, did you had to have been crying, right?
Most of it was, yes. And it's also like they talk about writing being cathartic, because I've lost a lot of people in my life. Which everyone has, you know what I mean? And so this was just another way to express that grief. So book 2, while it is kind of heavier on themes and stuff, is special to me and will always be special to me, because it's like I got to go through my grief again with Diana, except, I can't wield fire, and that's fine. Good for the world. But it was something that had to be depicted how it was. I knew going in that the people that loved her in book 1 would still love her in this one, because they would feel for her, because they've been through, like, either similar situations or just can, tell by what's going to happen. And so with book 2, it was just, I knew it wasn't going to be easy, and definitely wasn't going to be wrapped up like, Sam Keel's going to kiss her and then like magically we're healed. But I don't know. I definitely like how it turned out for sure. And like I said, him being that support for her, because even though he can't fix it, like that part he says, like, all the power in the world I have, I can't heal a broken heart. And she was just, like, that's just kind of what she needed to hear, and have him there regardless, So thanks. I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah. We have more to give. So, brace yourself. We're talking about big themes. Let's talk about the theme of betrayal. Let's talk about Vincent. This little thread that you wove here of Vincent and his betrayal, beautifully done. Absolutely epic.
Thank you.
It's right here for us. It's like, hello, these signals, these spikes, they're going to other worlds. And it's like, nah, we don't got, no. No.
Logan's crazy. He's just looking for stuff. Look at this thing over here. Yeah, exactly. And I've been doing it since the beginning, because Vincent was in charge all the way back in Book of Azrael. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he's been, taking and giving information as he sees fit.
The whole time. Fantastic. I will confess to you that what my second favorite character in this whole series so far in these 2 books is Reggie. Reggie is my second favorite character.
I love him.
I love him.
He's my favorite too. And I was just because I told someone in my spoiler group where I was like, there's a character in book 2 that comes in that I love so much, and they're like, who? And it was Reggie. It was the fate. I just love him.
I love him so much. It's just like, you get betrayal, but also secret loyalty, but also maybe not, but also everything. Like, I love it. I love him so much. I love that he's like sassy, and I love that he interferes. I love his backstory. I love the lying and the double crossing. It was fantastic. And I also love the like genuine care that he has for Diana, and for the the overarching plot and everything too. What was it like writing a character so just kind of like all over the place?
So I had to be careful with Reggie because he's a fate. Yes, he sees like past, present, and future. So sometimes with the hints I wanted to give, like I knew they could not make sense, but then kind of make sense because he's seeing a multitude of things at one time. So that kind of made it a little easier. But I really wanted him to be, which you guys know me, so you know this will be funny. I really wanted him to be kind of like the Giles of like the gang. You know what I mean? Like the one that like, because, Buffy always seems like, I can come to you for this, blah, blah. And like, has that love for this family that even Reggie's a part of and stuff now. And so it's like, he just was going to be always like the wise one that can come up with the questions because he'll know more than Sam Keel because he's been around since forever. And so like, I just really liked that like aspect of it. And that's kind of like my inspiration going in. It was like, okay, this works. This is cool. But yeah, I love it. And I love him and Diana's like relationship and stuff. Cause he does generally care and you'll find out more about that later, but like he does generally care. So, he was fun.
And I like that, like you were saying, like his relationship with Diana, it was funny because what did he tell Sam Keel? He's like, she's happy to hear the answers from me. You're a little bit too close to home. So she's not going to look to you for the same questions that she wants to ask. And I mean, and that's true so often that we're willing to get feedback and criticism if I don't want to say like the person, but if we hear what we think we want to hear and not from the people, you're not going to ask somebody a question if you're not going to like the answer you're going to get from the person that you trust and like, or like, I'm going to ask this other third party-ish person.
Yeah, no. And it makes it a little bit, I guess, easier because I don't know. I feel like Diana wouldn't come to Sam Keel about Sam Keel problems. And so like she had this other person there for it. And he also, Reggie also sees through like her bullshit. So it works as well too. He's just like, yeah, well, anyways, I know you're still in love with him and you're grieving. So like maybe chill a little. Like, do you have to do this?
And Gabby says that in the letter to her too. And she's like, P.S. I know you. Be nice to him.
Uh-huh. And I love that callback too. That's what I was telling you guys. Like you'll pick up things from book 1 and like book 2. And it was literally a callback when they're on the phone or when she's talking to like, be nice to Liam, and she's just like, oh gosh, So it was fun. It was fun. Gabby knows her sister.
I want to talk about the absolutely fantastic section of the book where Diana is in her custom built palace and she is going through the healing journey and that healing journey has like so many facets. You're outdoors, you're hiking, you're keeping busy, but you're also rotting in bed and crying. You're also, you're staring into space, but you want to be alone and you don't want to be alone. That entire section of the book was just so beautifully written and so delicately handled, but also the comic relief on there too, with like Cameron coming in, like, oh my God, she's so dirty. Like we're all gonna get fired. Oh my God, like we gotta get her back. Like, oh, what is happening? Just like, I love that. And I love how slowly the isolation is like breached, right? Because like Sam Keel gets in there and then it's like, hey, do you want to have a sleepover? It's like, it is Diana slowly building this other family, right? And this sisterhood that is not a replacement sisterhood, but is just like a different sisterhood. And of course, we love that here. We love that here. How important was it to take Diana from this previous like found family of just like very manipulative men and giving her a wonderful found family of women and men that are understanding and want to spend time with her and just so vastly different?
I knew, like I said, I knew from the beginning I wanted to like give her an actual like family, not the ones that she's come from, that kind of, like she needed that structure in her life, like everything else. And like, I can't say that. That's too much of a spoiler. But like she needed that structure and stuff in her life. You know what I mean? And like you get this, like she gets this great love when it comes to Sam Keel. And I was like, okay, well, like, and then she has like these sisters, like you said, who don't replace Gabby, but it is just another part of her life. Like how we have a multitude of friends, like not one friend replaces another one. You love them differently, kind of thing. So that was important. And then also it was kind of back to what Jess said earlier, where when it comes to grief, you come in these cycles. And so like, I wanted to show those cycles while she's in this castle, because she quote unquote doesn't have her powers. So she's experiencing all these things. And it's like, I'm mad at Sam Keel because I care about him and like, I don't want to. And then also don't leave me, but like, don't come close to me. Like, you know what I mean? She's going through all of it. And then, you know, like I said, Reggie kind of came in clutch there too. When he was telling, he was like, well, maybe, you know, just, you know, give her a family back, whatever. And then so it's like, okay, idea. Why don't you hang out with them? And then that loosens her up. And then, you know, the beach day loosens her up as well too. So it's slowly breaking the shell. And that's kind of what I wanted to showcase. Not only is she breaking through, but at the same time, those powers are resurfacing because she's becoming more of herself and like, I guess, less guilty, you would say, when it comes to all of it. So it was fun. And I definitely told people before, like, you'll notice in the book, like part 1 is way different than like part 2 of the book.
Are you any good at volleyball?
They wanted me to be on the volleyball team when I was in high school, but I think I switched up and went to track for like a little bit. But no. It's because I'm tall. It's not because I'm good at it.
I feel like it would have to be cathartic to like spike the ball.
Yeah.
Like I love when they were just like, you know what? Like Logan has a bad knee and like,
I know, never was like, I love him.
They're like, and he doesn't want to talk about it. And like Imogen's like, men in their pride. I'm like, exactly. And she's like, we're going to use it against them.
Never's like, I love my husband, but we can take him out at the knee. You know? They're like, we want to win. And then you see Diana kind of change in that scene too, because she was like, she sees they're about to lose and she was like, no, like this is important to like Never and Imogen, like we're gonna freaking win. And that's when her power kind of like slips out again, because it's back to that kind of protective nature of her. So I don't know, I love that, because like you see, what do you guys see it especially too, like so you've been here from the beginning, but yes, Diana is like my Damon or Catherine, you know, but at the same time it all comes from love, you know what I mean? So she gets these powers back, or she's slowly getting her powers back when she realizes, you know, like, well, I want to do this for this, and I want to do this for this reason, kind of thing. So,
well, and Sam Keel even says, he's like, oh, to be loved by Diana. Like she loves so hard. And she keeps the people she loves so close to her, and she keeps a small circle. And I think a lot of people do, but like when she loves so fiercely. And and he says it like, and I love that that's even a conversation. What he says to her face is also like what he talks about with his, like his friends, you know, I don't want to say behind her back, but he's very much like, if this was you, and if like you had lost me, or you had lost your wife, or if it was anybody, you're going to sit here and tell me that you want to be acting the same exact way? Who are you to pass judgment? And I think it was Logan maybe I could be confusing it at one point, who he mentions, he was like, he goes, what I would do for my wife is exactly what Diana is going through. It's a different type of love, but at its core, at its foundation, it is love. And I think
that was Logan.
Yeah. And I think it was just, once Sam Keel also like put that into perspective, and Logan right off the bat, he's ride or die with Sam Keel. Love it. He's like, no questions. I got you.
Yeah, I got your back, dude.
When I don't want to say spin, but when you explain it like that, everybody was like, oh, we shouldn't pass judgment. We would absolutely be acting the way that Diana was. And I think that was the whole shift of the hand, when they were like, points were made.
Yeah. I would also protect my family. Would I have done it, you know, at this gratuitous level as she has? Probably not. But at the same time, like I would, you know, go to war for them, kind of thing. And yeah, Logan, ride or die for sure. He legit was just like, listen, I got your back. I understand what she's going through, but you know, we'll try to save her. And that was another thing too, you know, Imogen comes into the picture and everyone was kind of like, oh, it's the ex, like it's going to be like, you know, cat fight kind of thing. And I'm like, no, because, you know, Imogen's character, she's just not like that. And they were never in love. It was just like, well, we're both kind of like, I guess this could be fun for right now. We're both kind of like doing battles and going to war. What's the harm, you know? And you have Imogen at a point too, when they're going to like rescue, or like that final like save Diana thing, where she's like, this is important to you. We love you. So we're going to help get her back for you, kind of thing. And I think a lot of readers like, wow, okay, maybe I like Imogen too.
Well, and I think you know, you see Diana's internal dialogue where she, you know, Imogen's like, can I sit with you guys? Like, it's so intimidating to ask anybody like, hey, can I hang out? Like, even as adults, like that doesn't get old. And here they are, like thousands of years old. And they're like, and Diana's even saying like, oh, that's right. I did kind of almost kill her. So I can totally get the reluctancy. But when it comes to like girls' night sleepover, Imogen's like, let's talk about the giant elephant in the room. Let's clear the air right away. I need you to know this. And like,
I am not a threat.
Yeah. Like, please, I am not and like, I just love that was kind of like nipped in the bud right away.
Yeah. And I wanted it to be because that was not the focal point of her coming back. You know what I mean? And it wasn't something that's going to get in between them. Sam Keel has a lot of exes. Imogen is not the bad one. That's all I'm saying.
And I love that, like, and even Diana, she's like, realistically, logic, I understand. You're over 1,000 years old. You have lovers, like thousands. Yeah. I get it.
She's like, I can't pass judgment. But.
Yeah, she's like, but that doesn't mean I don't want to kill every single person you've ever been with before me.
Yeah,
he's like,
exactly.
You want to kill the people I used to sleep with? You're so cute.
I know. He's just like so into it. And he's like, are you jealous? I'm into this. What? But yeah, that was another thing, especially when it comes to them. Like I said, we can do spoilers here, but them being like Amada, them being mates and stuff. Even before it was announced, like when you have like this mate, especially in the world that I created, like you do have that like protectiveness or jealousy or something like that. Cause it's like, it's mine. No one can touch it kind of thing. Like I'm going to protect it. And they were not aware of that until like later on, but you can kind of see it even in book 1, like he's already protecting her and he's like, I don't know why I'm doing this, or like vice versa, and they're just like, wait, we don't like each other, like what's happening? So
all the crumbs were there. I was like, and I even texted Laura, I was like, this is what it is.
Right
like,
here. It's right here.
And it was like so early on. But you see it with like the hesitation when like Sam Keel is talking to Logan to be like, she's mine. And then there would be like ... Even though I feel like, or I've never felt like this before. And then Logan, ... I was like, ooh, highlight. And then like even Logan is explaining his relationship to Diana with his wife. And he was like, we were fighting in the kitchen and I put my hand, and she was like so close to the burner, and I guess she was going to put her hand down. Yeah, and he goes, even when we were in our argument, I immediately put my hand under her hand to like catch it, because like I have this like
it's innate,
instinctive, to protect, and that's exactly what Sam Keel is for. And they're like, I don't know why, and the reader is like, we know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why, too, I wanted to throw everyone off a little bit, especially with Diana on her rampage, because, like, they do fight because they're back to enemies, and, like, she stabs him on the boat, and people were like, why would she hurt him? And I was like, technically, it wasn't a mortal wound. She did not hit any major arteries. I've already hinted that she knows where they all are because Gabby was, like, a nurse kind of thing. And so, like, this was just her way of, like, trying to push him away, but at the same time still showing that, you know, evilness of her. But it was also fun on the shipwreck scene because you see that happen, but then this water rushes in, or this metal piece comes flying, and she immediately jumps on him to save him. I'm like, innate, they can't help it.
Yeah, and he was like, I saw it, she protected me, and he was like going to all his bros, and he's like, she protected me.
She also like dragged me up on the beach, even though I can't drown, but like she cares.
Just like, you know, the things you do. It's like it was so so good. I loved
acts of service.
Yeah. Which it was funny. Someone pointed that out too with the whole that in the middle part of the book where it's like, I'm gonna piss her off because he knows that jealousy, like him, they're very jealous. He's like, if you can say these things about Imogen, and even me writing those things, I just want you to know that even me, I was like, please stop. This is, you love Diana, you know? But like, even me writing those, I felt that way. But like, that was just another way to see, like, I know you're still in there and I know you still care. You can't fake it, you know?
Well, and the friends even started partaking it too. Like, oh, you know, has he, you know, did you see him on the 5th floor with that, like, whatever one of the people with Lydia at the council? And she's like, who's Lydia? And they were like, pay up. And she's like, I hate your boat. She's like, they were just like in on it too. It was so fun. It was just everybody was trying to take bets to be like, what's going to break her first? Because Sam Keel was like, I'm not letting up. Like, I don't know what y'all think, but like, this is not going to happen.
And then like the next 2 chapters when she's like, yeah, and who's Lydia? He's like, who the fuck is Lydia?
Then she was like, oh, I know what they did. She was so mad. She's like mad that she fell for it.
Yes. So that was fun for me because it's like, even though you physically see her say or do these things, you still catch her slipping up the whole time. Even when she's like, no, I don't care, but who's this bitch? You know, like
writing scenes like this, and even like how often in this book did you feel like you weren't writing the book, the characters were writing? Like they were like, you were like, I don't know what my fingers are doing. This is just them. Like I'm just.
It happened a few times, and it still happens now with the book 3, because like I'll like rough draft something and then I'll go back to fix it. I'm like, wait, I'm changing this dialogue because it flows better with how they will react. You know what I mean? But no, it was fun with that when we get to like the flirty banter and them going back and forth, because it's like some of it did change, because it's like, no, Sam Q would be quick to like react in this part or etc. But it was just fun. Like I caught myself so many times laughing. One of my favorite scenes actually about that I like to write was when she's like seducing him, I guess, in a way, because they go to the ice skating rink and she's asking me all these personal questions and he's like, what are you asking me for? And she's like, no reason. And I'm just like, you fucking liar. No ulterior motives. What do you mean?
And then she goes to the house and she was like, just kidding. I lied. Yeah. Here's my ulterior motive.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another scene I was planning too, because it's like the hand keeps showing up, and she's like, all right, I got to take him somewhere where no one knows, because I don't want you guys just barging in like you did.
And then all the girls, like I love another thing, like I love all the girls were in on it. They were like, this is what you need. Like, we're going to hook you up. It's going to be so good. Yes. And then when the rest of the hand, they were like, where's Sam Q? Like we haven't seen anybody, and everyone's like,
yeah.
Like nobody.
Never,
like,
never
you all know.
Lie. And so she's just like, what do you mean, Logan? Don't look at me. What are you talking about? I didn't.
Well, then they asked Reggie, and Reggie was like, your king is with his queen.
Yeah.
They're like,
anyways. I know Reggie. Listen, Reggie has seen like the end of worlds like 50 times. So he's like, guys, all right, moving on. Come on. We got stuff to do. Like, they're together.
I love him so much. We're bringing up the house, which is excellent, because I want to talk about the lock on the room in the house. I want to talk about all of this imagery we have. This was fantastic, especially like we know what we know, we see what we see. I loved all of this. It's like a little mantra that she has, that she kind of repeats to herself. And then in certain moments that lock rattles, that lock fades. That was my favorite one. The lock fades. This containment that she has created here, and this guilt that we talked about a little bit earlier, and this suppression of power and the releasing, and all of this is so wonderful. And you talked about writing this being a little bit cathartic for the reader. Let me tell you.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, this was so emotional and just so fantastic to finally like experience. What was this like writing for you? Were you just like, because this imagery, I just cannot get over this imagery. Did you have this, like you were always going to put this room? Yes?
Yes. So actually at one point it was an apartment. It was like Gabby's like first apartment, but I didn't like the placement of it or where it was, especially for what I knew was going to happen and stuff and etc. So I moved it to like their first house, because I feel like two things. One, what you guys can attest to, it could be a childhood home that is always personal to you or like means a lot to you. I mean, like I know I have that when like all of my family were like together and stuff, and it's just like a core memory and it's happy. So I always wanted that aspect of it. And the second is just like I said, with me experiencing any type of grief or depression or anxiety, like everyone has it. It's something we should all talk about if we're comfortable. I'm not pressuring anyone, but like I've experienced all that stuff. And I know for a fact that there's sometimes when something traumatic or bad happens, like you kind of shut down or you lock it away. And I just wanted that more like in a fantasy setting. So Diana has his emotions. She's a supernatural, immortal being, but when she shuts down or locks it away, she physically does that in her mind to this house that meant a lot to her with her sister, you know? And so you do see in the thing where like they're painting, because it's like something that they first like made their house, and like you see their family's initials, and then you see the hallway, and there's multiple doors in the hallway. But the main one is where she locks like that love for him back, because like she just can't deal with it right now. She feels guilty. And then you saw the other door where it's like kind of like her psyche in a way that can kind of see where events are going. You know, like she had that bad dream in there, and like she saw like Sam kill on this slate. So like it's all still in her mind, just like I guess, I don't know if metaphysical is the right word, kind of like structure of it. You know what I mean? So instead of it just being like, I thought I locked this up, you literally see the house she locked it up, kind of.
Amazing. Absolutely incredible. I need to talk about secret fathers
Yes.
and fathers keeping secrets and
Man.
secret brothers keeping secrets.
Everyone's keeping secrets.
secrets.
Like,
There's so many secrets, and we're only on book 2. It's great. It's great for the whole family, honestly.
yeah. Okay. The whole family. This entire backside of your book is breathtaking, right? Show-stopping, shocking, to say the least.
Twist after twist, yes.
Yes, twist after twist. I need to tell you this. I love that you did the thing. I love when the thing, whatever the threat is, happens, and it happened. Like, bam, realms are open. Let's go. Bang, bang.
Yep.
That's
my
love
favorite
it.
too. Yeah.
I love it. Like, let's deal with the thing that everyone was threatening
So
with.
worried about, yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And while we deal with that terrible thing, hey, let's strip away your found family and, so you get to see, let's mind control them. And let's also stick you with brothers and an old enemy. Fantastic. My question for you is, Diana is like, if you are going to say that I'm a villain, then I'm going to be a good one. If I'm going to be a monster, I'm going to be a good one. All of these things.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we have our actual like big bad. I say that not knowing the rest of the series, but like in book 2, we have the reveal of our big bad being a spoiler. This is Nismera. How did we? This was shocking. Like, I know that there's crumbs.
I love that I got you guys. I was so worried everyone was going to know because so how my brain works is I know everything. So I just assume everybody else knows everything. And I'm like, Amber, no, people can't read your minds. And so it was shocking. And I was so glad that no one picked up on it until like the very end. So that made me happy. But she was there from like she's always been the big bad. And like, even in book 1, like I would mention her, bring up her name or something. And I'm thinking, just putting the threat out there. Yeah, it was something that was fun for me. Like I said, I told you guys before, like I take a lot of like inspiration and stuff from Buffy. Like that was my OG. That's what I grew up on. And every season of Buffy had like a big bad. And I felt kind of like within my series, just starting out, like, book 1 was Kaden. Book 2 is kind of Diana. Then book 3 and onward, like we're dealing with like Nismera and stuff, And that was always kind of my thought process going in. I remember sending my editor like the like rough outline, and she's like, "Oh crap." I'm like, "Yeah, she's not dead. She's still alive."
I could never be an editor because I'd be like, "What? You did?" Like I would
that.
just be like, I would have to take, like, how do you? I don't know. Like I could never be an editor. I'd take the fangirl out of it. How do you not fangirl? But I guess that's like also the excitement. You want that person in your corner to be like, "This is it.
This is it." No, I love my editor. She's still fangirl. She's I'm getting tongue tied now, but like talking to her, I'll call her with like different ideas, and not different ideas like plot changing, but I'm like, X, Y, and Z is going to do this. You think it still works for the plot? She's like, "Oh, perfect." And she still gets excited or giddy, or like, she's like, "Oh, I really like this. This is so good." Or, she's like, "Oh my God, this kind of hurts my feelings," or she'll cry. Like, it's just nice to get those reactions before like I give it to you guys. So I'm like, all right, this is we're about to make some people happy or mad.
Well, I feel like you tease us too when you're posting on your socials, like screenshots with your editor, and it's just like meme conversations.
Yes, it's literally us. No, she's great. And it's funny just to like brainstorm and go off ideas and stuff, because like I said, all the books, all the main big stuff is there. It's just when you're going in between and filling in like the gaps and stuff,
Well, Well, let me tell you about a little part that stressed me out, and I don't think you intended this. Maybe you did. When Sam Keel is asking about, where were you to Logan's wife? I cannot.
Yeah.
Never. And he's like, I gotta write it down in my notebook. I was like, oh, what are we making a paper trail for? And then, right, like, what are we doing this for? And then we got Ellie, right? We got Ellie writing everything down in her notebook. I was like, again, what are we doing?
The paper trail.
What are we doing? And then when Cameron shows up, like, I got it. I was like, I fucking knew it. Yeah. I knew it. That was unintentionally stressed me out. So, thank you for that. My heart rate.
I like that part though, because when Cameron's like, I got a notebook, and Xavier's like, no, you did not. What did you do? And he's like, I'm willing to do anything to help our cause. And he's like, yeah, like that's kind of like the catalyst for a lot of the things that are going on. Yeah. Because, well, I mean, really the catalyst could technically be Diana to be like, when are you guys going to talk about whatever this is? And Sam Keel, even like when things are in a better place with them, she says it to him and he's like, yeah, it's another elephant in the room we don't talk about, but we all know it.
Yeah. Everyone knows, just no one says it. They're like, they'll figure it out on their own time, maybe. That was definitely a shift. And at first, like I said, we talked spoilers, but at first I assumed everyone would think, oh, he's just mad, whatever. But that was also kind of a final nail for Xavier as well. He's like, okay, he's never going to like choose me. So I guess since I'm with this one guy and like we're dating and like he's asking me to marry him, like, why not? I can't keep waiting, for you kind of thing, which was another emotional moment. Oh my God. I totally had Taylor Swift, Enchanted playing when they're on the bridge. Yes. I'm a Swiftie, first of all, guys.
Yes.
I have so many Taylor Swift songs saved. Yes. So yeah, it was a big deal. And like, 'cause I love Cameron and Xavier. They have, their relationship. It's something. But yeah, it was kind of like a final nail in the coffin because he's like, okay, well, Cameron didn't tell him that he's even like remotely with her, and he's like, why did you mention it? Because you knew it was gonna like hurt my feelings and piss me off, kind of thing. Even if they don't mean anything to each other, like Eliana and Cameron and stuff. But I think that was just a wake up call for Cameron as well too. He's like, wait, you're really like leaving this time, like, okay. So yeah, sorry about that.
I feel like you're just gonna keep, and I'm sorry about this part, and I'm sorry about this part, because like I found myself like I was not expecting to be as emotional I was. Like, even if you take the grief part out of it, when there's the Logan reunion and then they step up to help Diana get out of like, I was just like, this is a lot. I don't know. Like, this is a lot.
That was one of my favorite parts too. That was she's like, wait, I'm not alone, even though we've been telling you.
And she was like, even after everything, and in the hands, even like, oh yeah, you've been around like shitty quote unquote friends, like shitty people, like, duh, this is really weird.
Yeah, he's like, I forgot that you don't know people actually care about others. Yeah. But it was also just a turning point, not only for the family aspect of it, but for like, I guess the working aspect of it as well too, because like the hand is like Sam Keel's Kingsguard, and Logan even says like, I see why he's obsessed with her. Like, I see why he loves her, and not like in a way that he like feels that for her, of course, but like he just sees the admiration that he has for her because like they are the same, like similar, like, that would be like, I get it. That's our queen. We get it. We will stand for her.
Kneeling, but they were like, yep, that I thought it was, he wanted an equal. Well, here you go.
Yeah, he begged for one. You got him.
And then they were like sharing their story. They were like, oh, I killed somebody from the inside once too. I never want to do it again.
I love that. Oh, that was excellent.
He was so proud. He like, when they're walking and stuff, and she's like, why are you looking at me like that? He was just so proud. He was like, you did that? And she's like, yeah, duh. Like, it's hard. Like, what is it from? Like, it's hard or something.
What, like it's hard? Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Let's talk about Caden. I absolutely love that he answers to Nismera. I absolutely love it. I love that she's like, you know what? Like, what the fuck is all of this? I wanted this, this, and this. Did you give me this? She's like, but you told me to do this. And she's like, you know, I love it. I love the dynamic that's kind of there. I love these brother reveals. This is a show-stopping event at the end of the book, obviously, with Sam Keel, and we have all of these reveals. How did you do this? I was just like, what next? Like, what could possibly happen next? Because everything is open. Like, we have Diana, she comes, we have this confrontation. Everyone's like, takes a step back. Everyone's looking at Kate like, hey, about this. Fantastic stuff here. Fated mates. We love this trope. We love the power that fated mates gives us. Can you kind of tell us, we have Caden as the like very antithesis of love, and then we have Sam Keel, which is just like absolutely everything. We have Diana willing to do whatever it takes, and we have this threat now, these three figures, this threat. I am terrified. Should I be?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Nismera is terrible. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I feel like that should be like, you know, in the forward of the book where it was like, this is for the reader. That's just going to be going forward for all the readers. I'm sorry. Like just everything.
For all the readers. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, you guys also know I'm a big Marvel girly. So like, I like those like Avenger level threats, you know, like I grew up watching those movies and stuff. So it's always something I want to do. Not like the multiverse. I don't want to do that. But like you have those opening scenes, like when Thanos like walked through that portal, like that's the kind of feeling I wanted when Nismera showed up. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, oh, I thought this evil destruction goddess was, you know, R.I.P.
Yeah.
JK, she's not. But go back. I'm going to go back to a few things you said. So the first thing was with Caden, or like you said, the different kind of love. I just want it to be known that Caden does love her in his own way. We don't know, like, well, you guys don't know, like how he's grown up, things he's been through. Like, think of his love. I said this on a different podcast too. Think of his love. His love is like the ugly versions of it, where it's like the obsessive, the compulsive, the have to have, possess, own you type of love. And then you see Sam Keel's love that's pure and like gives her this space and allows her to grow, but is also still protective and wants like what's best for her and stuff. So you have love, but on two very different dynamics, I guess you could, two very like structures, I guess. And so it's still there, even if it's not something that's good for her. You know what I mean? And so a lot of his actions, regardless of what we saw, like a little bit of his past, like you saw that like maybe, you know, his mind wanted to change, or he wanted to do this, or like you said, he wants to do everything to keep her. And it just is not something that's plausible, even though like she doesn't like belong to him. And so you have that aspect of it, which I thought was cool. And then, like you said, with the big reveals, yeah, you find out that not only does Sam Keel, you know, is Caden his brother, but like he has his sister and another brother, and he's just shocked because all of these secrets and lies were kept from him, and they were kept for a reason that, of course, you guys will find out later. But it just turns into something completely different, and I wanted that like family dynamic of it, I guess, in a way. You know what I mean? Where I'm trying to word this without doing anything, but like I wanted this family dynamic. It was like, you know, you thought you were like the strongest, the whatever, and it turns out like your whole life, even though you were like king and this prodigy, kind of has been a lie. And we find out how he deals with that later on, and you find out more about the brothers and stuff. Because Caden does have a potential love. He does love Isaiah. He does love Nismera. And you get more villain aspects of it. You know what I mean? And that was always a big thing for me as well, too. So, yeah, it's just, it's a lot. And it's so fun, she says.
She says watching everyone cry and rave and have all these emotions about it. Would you think that Caden would consider himself toxic?
Or
does he not? Is he just doesn't have that self-awareness?
I don't think he thinks like that. And so I think, he could recognize cues as like, maybe this is something that, not everyone does, but it has to be something that's learned because take, for example, I'm trying to think of an analogy of some sort, but it's like if you have this one view and how you see the world, especially when it comes to love or whatever. And Caden is a type where, in a way similar to Diana, where like they hold on to things with their bare claws, you know what I mean, to keep. And so for him, that's just like how his form of love is, even though that's not good. So I don't know if he would ever see himself as toxic. Like he just identifies like that's just how I can't change how I feel kind of thing. But he is. He's very toxic. He's also that very harsh line when we're talking about villain or like morally gray, where it's like, he loves Diana. He does not care about anything else like around her kind of thing. So like, you killed her sister, like he would eliminate anything near her to have her kind of thing. And he doesn't see that as bad, even though he should, even though he might need to. So yeah, it's very, very different.
Well, he even says like he says a line, or I know I'm paraphrasing, where he's like, yeah, I know I did this thing. He's not apologetic about, obviously killing Gabby, but he's like, but you know what? It's fine. We're going to, I'll do enough of these other things that she'll forget it and I'll do like all time.
Yeah. We'll have like thousands of years.
Yeah, it's fine.
And Diana like comes up like, later at
the, you're psychotic.
Yes. And Diana says at the end of the book, she's like, are you fucking insane?
Yes.
Like, if you did this to my sister, you're going to do this to Sam Keel. She's like, that is not love, you crazy asshole.
Yeah. And that's the thing with building his character or any character when we're talking about this. Like, I have a lot of immortal beings. They're not all going to think as humans think. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that was another way to showcase that, because like in his mind, he's like, give or take 1,000 years or more, we'll be together. Like this ache or pain will dull. Like you're just mad right now. You'll be fine kind of thing. And it's not how she works. Like I said, we're doing spoilers, but the same thing, how his brain works when it comes to Gabby to him is not her real sister. Like, even though, Sam Keel makes that point, none, like, blood does not matter. Like, that's your sister. You love her. To Caden, he's like, you are this freaking celestial, like, future queen from, like, Azrael's line. Why are you worried about a mortal? You know what I mean? Like, that's how he views it. So he's like, chill out. Like, he's just like, you'll be fine. And so, like I said, it's very different. It's a very different way of thinking when you talked about, like, the two brothers. Very, very different.
Well, and you kind of like bring me to my last question. My last question for you, Amber Nicole, as you were writing Diana going through her female rage and her kind of just like, I'm going to take everyone that touched Gabby out because you know what? Yeah. They knew, and I'm consistent and fulfilled my promises. So like, let's go. Was there any point during her rampage where you were writing it and you were like, maybe this is not a little far. Maybe it's a little far.
No. And I'll tell you why. And this sounds so precise, but I'd said it before in the beginning of our little podcast, like, when it comes to the reactions when a male character does something to a female character does something, it's very drastic. It's very different. And I knew that I would get some, I guess not necessarily backlash, but like I knew some people would just not vibe with it, not deal with it and stuff because of how she acts. But like I told Jess earlier, like I really did, take kind of like that Damon Salvatore when it comes to reactions and put that in a female form. Because if you look at it, Diana may have done something that goes too far and someone doesn't like her, but then you have Damon on like the Vampire Diaries who like kills Elena's ex or does all this stuff because she hurt his feelings, and people are like, a swoon and take me to bed now kind of thing. So no, I wasn't going to dull Diana down or make her any less vengeful or angry or upset because she's allowed those emotions. Just because she's female does not dictate that she can't experience or express them the same way that like maybe popular male counterparts can. You know what I mean? They're all morally gray. They're all villainous in a way. And so I really wanted to stay true to that. And she still stays true to that regardless of the series. Like that's just her character. Like she's never going to be that she's never going to be softer, I guess. Well, I won't say that because I don't want you guys to go in and thinking that she's just like ripping heads off stuff. But like,
but as she should though too. Like there were times every time she was killing somebody, I was like, there would be times before, like I think it was like with Drake or with Eve, like anybody, where I was like, you know what he should do? She should kill, and then she'd be walking out with a head, and I was like, yes. That's exactly what, like, there was not one point where I was like, maybe she, like, for me personally. So when you're saying, like, oh, some people might read it, I was like, what people? Let me talk to them because they're wrong.
It's just different. And like I said, reading subjective are subjective. So even these characters will be subjective. But I just know there's like a very double standard when it comes to what a male character can do and get away with and what a female character can do and get away with. And I'm okay pushing that boundary, and I'm okay at testing that because I'm not going to change her. And like I said, yes, she may get softer because, like, you know, Sam Keel, and like she loves him and she has a capability of love, but she's still Diana. She's still protective of the one she loves. She still will like raise the world for it. And you're going to kind of need that when you're coming up against people, when you're coming up against like this goddess like Nismira, or like, you know, Kate and Isaiah, or any other like things out in these other realms that she's never experienced. Like, you're going to need that cutthroatness, you know? So yeah, it's still like book 3 is so fun. I say that even though I made you guys cry too, but it's so fun because you get these other layers you're exploring.
I think the testament of a good book is evoking emotions. And I think that's you do that so beautifully and we're only in book 2. That's the exciting part.
We have so much.
You're like, this is still just the beginning.
So Jess, I know that you wanted to ask Amber a question about where we...
You mean bigger picture? Bigger picture? Okay. So, bigger picture. My thing, reading this the entire time, I was like, I can see this. Not only can I see this and visually, and, you know, I know there are people who say like, oh, what do you mean you read and you don't just see words? Like, you can envision the whole thing. Is there and you know, maybe the conversations are already happening, I don't know, but do you see that for yourself with this series, of having that screen adaptation? Or is that even something that you want, or you're like, you know what, like nothing can justify and do it justice the way I have envisioned it?
I feel like that's every like author or writer's dream for sure. I mean, I definitely would love that. But like you said, I wish they would just pay their actors and writers more right now. So that's my stance on it. But no, I mean, that would be cool. Yeah, I mean, I would love to have something like that in the future. I think it would be hilarious to see Diana's actual rage on screen and people are like, oh yeah, you're right. She did do that.
That was like my big thing, because I was like, I need this to be bought right away.
He's like, I need something to buy it. I just need, you know, equal and fair pay. Yeah. And then hopefully...
And no AI making the script for you.
Yes. Oh my God. Let's jump on that train too. No AI in art whatsoever. And yeah, like, so hopefully maybe conversations and stuff like that will happen in the future after, you know, people are treated how they should be.
Well, the future, Amber, tell us about the future. You can tease us as much as you can. You're the queen of edging here. What can you tell us about either book 3 or the series? Just anything safe that you can tell us.
So I told this already in my spoiler page, so it's not like a spoiler for anybody else, but I feel like book 2 for sure was the heaviest of this series. And not just going into like themes and tones and stuff we dealt with. Now that's not me not saying that you won't cry with other books, and so forth like that, but it won't be as heavy as book 2 was. Like, there was a lot of stuff we had to go through for our little Diana, for her to kind of heal and, you know, come into this power that she's going to come into, kind of thing. So yeah, and I feel like you guys will definitely enjoy book 3. There's been a lot of moments where I've laughed and stuff too, so it's going to be kind of a different change. Do
you feel like you laughed more writing book 3 so far?
I feel like I've had more fun writing book 3. I wouldn't say laughing, because there's still a lot of stuff we have to get through, but definitely some more fun. Definitely more intrigue. You will probably meet a few new characters as well. Like I said, we opened these realms, guys. There's a lot going on back there that we were not aware of before. So yeah, and then you still have are cliffhangers, are little plot twists and stuff like that. But I always said from the beginning that book 1's cliffhanger was like the worst one with Gabby. I thought book 2's was a little bit easier. I feel like book 3's will be something where you're just like, what the fuck kind of happened. So, yeah, it's gonna be so much fun, guys. So much fun.
Do you have a tentative? Can you share with us like a tentative, even like season? Because now, congratulations. I don't know if we recorded it at the beginning of the podcast. You are a full-time author.
I am. It's so strange. I'm just like, what do I do? What is that from Talladega Nights? What do I do with my hand? That's kind of how I feel. But no, it's great. I've been writing and stuff, and it's easier, especially on my brain, because they don't have to go, like, okay, stop this cool fight scene I'm doing and go straight to work for 12 hours. So definitely nice. But the tentative, this is not an actual date, but the tentative release is going to be spring 2024.
Oh, so that's kind of consistent with the last the last few years. That's nice.
Yeah. So I try to keep them together. But yeah, so, which isn't, spring by itself is only, we're not dealing with like a 2-year wait, but I know everyone's excited and they want answers. So
are you going to be, is there going to be an audiobook option for book 2 in the future?
Yes, okay. Ruthie's my audiobook narrator. Love her to pieces. She saved my life. So she's going to be doing 2 and 3 and onward and stuff. Oh. So the biggest thing is just, we have to work with the schedule and stuff like that. So she'll record that one and have it out, and it'll be great. I can't wait. I always tell her when I'm writing something, I'll message her or text her and be like, so you're going to be making a lot of grunting noises in this book.
That was unexpected.
Have fun.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you tickled me. You got me.
And she did so well on book 1 too. We heard and we were like, oh my God, this is
she made me cry. I'm like, wait, I wrote this.
Yeah, and she was like, and I know that both you and her had like shared each other's in the studio kind of thing. And then you're like, behind the scenes, and then the final product, you're like, I knew it was good, but it's always a nice surprise when you're like, I didn't think it could get better, and it gets better.
Yeah, no, she really did amazing. I loved it so much because she sent me the part where it wasn't even like the sad Gabby part at the end. It was just her and Gabby having their not first, but their argument in the apartment and stuff. And I was like, Ruthie, oh my God, I can't listen to this anymore. Skip. But yeah, no, she did fantastic. I absolutely adore her. And I can't wait to see how she does with Throne of Broken Gods too.
It's so exciting. Everything that you're saying is just absolutely fantastic. And it's just so exciting. Oh my gosh. Cause it's it's happening, right? It's it's all happening. And that has to be for you just so satisfying, right? Are you just yes.
Yes, I am very happy. I love all my readers. I tell them that all the time anyways, if I'm making a post or a thread, but it's to find, people who love these characters as much as you and who follow along with them. It's just a blessing. And then guys like you as well, people who have been here since day one and still supportive, and we're doing this stuff, and you guys are growing huge too. And it's just so nice. So I really do appreciate it. And I really do enjoy it for sure.
Where can everyone find you? Dates, anything you've got going? Tell us.
So I'm way more active on Instagram. It's just Amber V. Nicole. I do have a TikTok. I post videos and fun trends and stuff there, but I'm definitely more active on Instagram. And then also the Facebook spoiler page. Usually I try to check in and stuff in between writing.
And we'll link all that in our show notes too, like we do with all of our stuff.
Perfect. Other than that, the next event I have would be a Polycon next year. If I have any more pop up.
I was going to ask, are you doing more pop up? Do you?
I think we're trying to do at least 2 a year. I'm not sure. But I know for sure we're doing a Polycon, and then I know they're looking for one more and talking about it. So I'll kind of find out when they find out, but definitely a Polycon.
And obviously let us know so we can go ahead and keep posting about it too.
Excellent. So you've got a Polycon and maybe something else, something spectacular. Who knows? We are all excited. And, we are here for you, Amber. You know this. We are always here for you to come on and talk about anything that you want to. Always, you have an open invitation. We adore you. This has been so amazing. Thank you so much, Amber, for taking the time. We love you. We appreciate you. And you really have created something very special here. So thank you for that as well.
And as Amber mentioned, please make sure you're checking her out on all of her socials. We'll make sure that's all in our show notes as well. And please make sure you check us out on Instagram. We're at ACOFAE Podcast, and we're also both on TikTok, ACOFAE Laura and ACOFAE Jessica. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.